Greetings everyone, welcome back to today's episode of 365 Days of Prog. Today we will be listening to a dialogue with the universe by Progres 2, but we'll do all of that after the intro, so I'll see you all then.
Hi, my name's Naomi. I'm an avid progressive rock fan, but I'm a long ways from knowing all the prog albums out there. But this year, I'm gonna give it a try. This is 365 Days of Prog.
So welcome back from the intro. As you can see, I switched my clothes because this is a different time of day. I'm currently recording this another time because the other recording was a lot noisier in the background, so this is what we're gonna do. So before we get into this album, I want to do a quick thing because I've already listened to this album at a different time. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to give you a few samples to listen to of greatest bits that I liked from this album. So have a good time at it. So, what do I think of this particular album? Well, I must say, before everything else, this is a fantastic album. I really liked it. I think it is the best so far, although we've only listened to 3 by this point. And to explain more why I think this album is so good, first of all, just the opener track, which is amazing. The bass, the drums, the guitars, everything's heavy, everything's so in sync. You get right into it. I think the translation for the first track's title is a dialogue with computers, or I don't know. It's written over here on top. Okay, you're gonna see it. And I love that track. I could headbang to it when I first listened to it. It was so amazing. I put it on replay and it's such a great song. Now, moving on to the other songs, they're all pretty good. They're actually pretty great. The singing in a foreign language such as Czech is really good. It's really fitting for the entirety of the album and I really enjoyed that. Now, the songs, they are heavy, they're good, their lyrics are fantastic. I opened a translation for them so I could follow and move along with the album. And another thing they can do really well is create the environmental sound. And what I mean by that is that there are those songs which require you to kind of experience what the narrative is. And the only way of doing that is making an environment in which you are surrounded. So you make an environment of sounds of sorts, and that's exactly what happens on the third track, which is also a great song, but it also kind of gets you into that mood, and I really loved it. Now, the fourth track on this album, called Odlet, I think in Czech, it probably is pronounced in a different way. That song, which means departure, is my absolute favorite from this album. I just completely love it. It's amazing. Everything about it is just so good. It has all the proggy instruments, all the proggy elements in it. It switches tones, it switches like motives, and there's great solos, and the lyrics are fantastic. Like, if you go ahead and translate the lyrics, you're gonna see that it says stay, as if they're calling for the people to stay on, I guess, planet Earth. But what actually happens is there's a departure and they leave planet Earth to find a more suitable place for humanity, as I see it at least. And the next 2 songs are called Planet Hirobishimabosh. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's just like a made up name. And those 2 songs talk about the people actually getting to a different planet and learning their lifestyle on it and their monarchy. So it's all pretty good. I would say that all of the tracks so far in this album, they consist of like a narrative that goes on, so it's really kind of a concept album when you think of it. Now, the album is specifically amazing when it comes to the instruments. Everyone's doing a great job at it. I must say, like on the 4th track, I think the hi-hat fucking died by the end of that song. It's just so obscene how good the drummer is sometimes, and also the bassist and guitarist and vocalist, and everyone's just pretty amazing. By the way, I didn't say this, but if you've not listened to this album, I'm gonna give you a one-time pass. You can pause this video right here, just go listen to the album. Just don't listen to me, listen to that. It's way better, trust me. Now, after giving so many compliments to this album, I must say that the last 2 tracks, they were kind of downers to me. They're good, don't get me wrong, they're really, really good. I really enjoyed them, but they just don't stand up to the level that this album has presented until this point. And those 2 last tracks are unfortunately what brings this album a bit down for me, because I know I want to listen to it entirely, but I do know that when it comes to those 2 last tracks, I'm probably not going to stick around most of the time just because I don't think they're that good. And on the same point, the ending of this album is also kinda anticlimactic. It just fades out, I guess. It's not that grandiose as you would expect from such a heavy album, but I'm gonna give it a pass. I think it's pretty good and you get the entire gist of it. Now, before I give you my ranking for this album, I must talk about the cover first. So I think this cover is pretty good. It's mainly self-explanatory. This is an album that just talks about space and galaxies and the universe and spaceships. And that's exactly what the cover shows. You just see a planet. It's pretty gray. Everything's pretty, dull, as you might say. But there's also this bit of orange coming out, which maybe symbolizes hope. But I think I'm just rummaging around uncharted territory by this point. So I must say the cover is pretty good. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just a cover, I guess. So to conclude, this album will receive a 9 out of 10. Now, it would have been a 10 out of 10 album. Yes, it would have been a 10 out of 10 album if it weren't for those 2 last songs, which I think kind of bring it down, and that's expected as all sides B usually tend to be kind of worse than side A most of the times. So that's all. If you have not listened to this album, go ahead, pause this video, just listen to this album. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. I guarantee that. And stay tuned for tomorrow, in which we're gonna listen to Lazarus Bird by the band Burst. But until then, I hope you all will have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye guys.